Okay, agenda questions. Please limit your questions at this time to resolutions under new business on this agenda. As a matter of fairness, you are asked to limit your questions to no more than 1 and your remarks to no longer than 3 minutes. If you are here representing a group, please identify yourself in the group and your position within that group. If you are here as an individual, please give us your name and address, and this section of public participation will be limited to 15 minutes. Please specify the resolution you are referring to in your question.
Oh, come on.
I know.
You want me to pick one up?
Can we bank those 15 minutes?
Thank you, they are banked, thank you. Superintendent's report.
Yes, I don't know if this is on. Is this on? Do I need it? Can everybody hear me? You didn't hear me? We're good? Good evening, everyone. I just wanted to report briefly on the Professional Development Day that we had on January 10th, Martin Luther King Day, for all of our teachers, and just give you a general idea of some of the topics that were covered. In the elementary schools, as well as Joyce Kilmer, there were grade level discussions on assessments, those things called running records and end of unit assessments. Cross-grade content level discussions, those articulation meetings. Teachers talked about what they're noticing, what are the strengths of the students coming up, what are the weaknesses, what are those areas that we need to work on. Discussion about the next generation science standards, which has been a topic of conversation for a while. And specialists met together for content year unit planning. Ramapo Ridge did some Windows 10 training for our secretaries. Special education and CST staff had some more real-time training. We started that Professional Development Academy, remember we talked about staff, teaching staff. We were able to do that at both Ramapo Ridge and at the high school during our Professional Development Day. We had Christiana Lang and Beth Ruggiero co-presented to all Ramapo Ridge teachers for 3 hours in the morning on a deeper proficiency of the O365 applications. A lot of great reviews and feedback from their evaluation forms. At the high school, we had a couple of teachers there. Christy Hardigan and Mike Doris reviewed key concepts and practical hints for Microsoft Office 365. And that was really well received as well. And I think one of the reasons it was is because if you recall, Christine a couple of weeks ago, Zimmerman talked about the results of the surveys. And some of the feedback she got from the surveys, and even was speaking with teachers, is saying, hey, listen, you know, we want to have smaller groups and some skill-based groups as opposed to all of us learning the same way, just like we differentiate instruction for students. And we were able to, with Christine's help and the help of our administrators and our teachers, run our Professional Development Day with teachers teaching teachers in smaller groups. So I report that because the feedback that we get from these evaluation forms is super important to how we go forward, and the best feedback we can get is from our teachers. So it was really a successful day, and we're thankful for our administrators and certainly Christine, who oversees all of the professional development in our district. She was between all schools at least 2 or 3 times during the day, participating and talking to teachers. So it was a great day. Thank you publicly. That's it.
Thank you. Mr. Bleeker.
Yes. Okay. January, this time of year, typically brings the start of the, well, sort of the middle of the road actually for budget development for the next year's budget. So currently we're working on the 17-18 budget. Look forward to working with the committee the next couple of months regarding that. I just wanted to share a couple of important dates coming up this year regarding budget development. Our board meeting is scheduled for March 15th. That's going to be the evening where we anticipate to adopt the preliminary budget and send that budget to the county for their review. The other important date regarding budget timelines to have on your calendar is April 26th. At that board meeting, that is when we will anticipate to finalize and adopt the final budget for the 2017-2018 school year.
Thank you.
That's all. Thank you.
Mr. Fair, report this evening.
Yes, I'd like to take note of agenda item 16A, where I'd like to formally announce the retirement for Ms. Monica Adams. According to our administrative team over at JK, Ms. Adams exemplifies everything that is good in education. She has committed 33 years of service to MAHWAH, and in her experience, it has ranged from the special education classroom to advanced math instruction. She currently teaches remedial math over at Joyce Kilmer. Ms. Adams' work not only impacted the students in her classroom, but made her colleagues better at their craft. She is a tremendous loss to Joyce Kilmer as a teacher, mentor, and friend. and we wish her all of the best in her future endeavors.
Thank you very much. Okay, this evening I have a report on 7 musicians who were selected for the 2017 North Jersey Region 1 Bands and Orchestra. The following MAHWAH High School students have been accepted by competitive audition to the 2017 North Jersey Region 1 Bands and Orchestra. Kristen Springer, Maxwell Mejia, Justina Kender, Gabriella Thank you very much. Gianni Spinella, William Liu, and Sam Darrow. And the band concert will be held Sunday, January 29th at 3 p.m. at Parsippany Hills High School. And 11 vocalists were selected for the 2017 North Jersey Region High School choruses. So congratulations to the 11 MAHWAH High School singers who tried out for the North Jersey Region High School choruses last weekend. All 11 were accepted. So congratulations to juniors Danny Donato, Carolyn Mavritish, sophomores Sam DeVries, Tommy Melly, and Jin Lee Vals, and freshmen Sophia Garvin, Julie Kim, Olivia Leto, Dante Mejia, and Matt Slockbower, and Rebecca Solomon. This is an impressive accomplishment. Well done, MAHWAH singers. And then I'd just like to call attention to 15P, a donation. I want to thank Mr. Ronald Carney, who's a member of the 44th New York Voluntary Infantry, which is an organization dedicated to commemorating and the heroism and sacrifice of all who fought in the American Civil War, as well as furthering education about the history of this time period. And they have offered a donation of $3,000 to defray the costs associated with the 8th grade field trip to Washington, D.C. and Gettysburg. So thank you, Mr. Carney. And that is it for my report for this evening. As of right now, we do not have the board committees in place. We will do so after we appoint the newest member to be on our board, and we will get back to you. We do have Christine.
Yes.
Christine is in the house. And Christine is going to give us an update on instruction and curriculum.
I don't think I need a mic either, right? We're good? We talk about a lot of things at instructional. I think it's an exciting committee to be part of. It's going to be called, I think now, moving forward, the Instructional/Special Education Committee, right? And so what I'll talk about monthly are the things that are on the agenda. And as we move things through our conversations and they come to the agenda, I'll talk about them. So on this month's agenda, agenda item 15K, you'll see the Elementary and Secondary Education Act. It's action plans to address our participation rate. According to the ESEA, Elementary and Secondary Education Act, all schools or districts who are not meeting 95% participation on the state assessments for one or more subgroups need to develop an action plan that addresses what the school or districts are going to do to remediate that participation rate. So we have 4 plans for your approval this evening. One is for the district, one is for MAHWAH High School, Ramapo Ridge, and Joyce Comer School. And that's for the state tests in language arts and mathematics. So it's a well-thought plan made in conjunction with the principals of those schools with their staff. So we present it to you tonight for your approval.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, do we have any other board member remarks or comments? Mr. Gallo.
I'm just going to speak on behalf of negotiations.
Yes, thank you.
Last Wednesday, the superintendent sent out an email blast, which I will simply repeat here, which is that at approximately 4 a.m. on Wednesday morning, January 18th, the Board of Education Negotiations Committee and the MAHWAH Education Association Negotiations Committee reached a memorandum of agreement. We are working collaboratively toward the ratification of a final contract regarding the terms and conditions of employment. We anticipate this process to take a couple of weeks.
Thank you. Anyone else? I'd just like to take a moment too to thank Mr. Sbarra, who is our councilman liaison to the Board of Education. Thank you very much for volunteering for that position.
Wasn't expecting that.
I know. Sorry. You can go with the flow. Old business, let's see, I'd like to take, new business now. 15A through R. May I have a motion to proceed on that? Ms. Conoco, Mr. Gallo, second. Any questions or comments? Any discussion on that? Everybody's good to go? Would you please take roll call?
Mr. De Silva,
Yes.
Mr. Denise,
Yes.
Mr. Gallo,
Yes. Oh, except for that I'm abstaining on 3 checks, 84956, 85147, and 85087.
Ms. Conoco,
Yes.
Ms. Maverich,
Yes, but I'm abstaining on check 85126.
Dr. Morthy,
Yes.
Mr. Windrikowitz,
Yes, but I'm abstaining on C, D, and E.
and Ms. Barron.
Yes. Now, I would like to take 16A through R. I have a motion to proceed on that. Mr. Denise and Mr. Wonderful second. Any comments or questions or remarks on any of those items? I think everything's good to go. Thank you.
Mr. De Silva,
Yes.
Mr. Denise,
Yes.
Mr. Gallo,
Yes.
Ms. Conoco,
Yes.
Ms. Maverich,
Yes.
Dr. Morthy,
Yes.
Mr. Windrikowitz,
Yes.
and Ms. Barron.
Yes. Public questions or comments. This section of public participation will be limited to 15 minutes.
I am gonna go, but. I'd
Go.
like to-
No, no, no. You go first. I'm here all the time.
Apparently I need to be
He will be
also.
too.
Good evening, Councilman Steve Sbarra, and yes, I am here representing the MAHWAH Township Council today. First of all, I'd like to congratulate all the new members of the school board for being elected into your positions and everybody else that took a new position this year in a leadership role. I know how difficult that is, and I know the criticism that sometimes you feel, but I just want to let you know that at least the Township Council appreciates all the work that you do on behalf of the children of this town, the parents of this town, and the taxpayers of this town. About 5 months ago, the former liaison for the council to the school board, Mary Amorosa, decided that she wanted to run for freeholder. And she went to the town council and she said, I can no longer provide the support as the liaison to the Board of Education. And the council president at the time, John Roth, looked at me and said, guess what, you got that job. So I fulfilled that for 5 months. At our reorg meeting this past January, it came up for reappointments on different committees and they wanted me to stay on it, and I happily accepted that position. So you will be seeing me as much as I possibly can at these meetings. But in sitting through some of these meetings and hearing what you do, I marvel at one thing in particular. How you guys can get through a meeting so quickly and out of here so fast. Because our meetings last forever. And I'm hoping to learn how you do that so I can bring that to the council, and then maybe we can get our meetings done before midnight and 2 o'clock in the morning. Those are our regular meetings. I know you had a big long one, but yeah, those are our regular meetings. But there are a number of things that I've noticed in our discussions at our meetings that sometimes they look at me and they say, well, maybe you need to talk to the Board of Education about that. You know, there are some things that we have shared interest in. And some of them was, well, actually one of the things was we had a member of the public come to put together a voluntary program on something that we thought was a good idea, but they were looking for volunteers and community service, and I called Dr. Schoen and I said, is this something you might be interested in? And she said, yeah, and we kind of talked about this, and I don't even know how far this has taken off at this point, but it's a way of things that happen at our meetings that sometimes, you know, if you were there, you would say, hey, you know, that's not a bad idea, we need to think about those things. Going forward, there's a number of major issues that are going on in the town. Some of which we can discuss in public, and some of the things we can't discuss in public. One of those things is the COA decision that eventually will be coming down by the state of New Jersey. Now this is truly affecting the township of MAHWAH in general. It's affecting us, and we have meetings and we have updates from our attorney as to where we are in the courts, and you may not even realize how much it may affect you. And I think that that's something that you should be involved in, or at least be notified as to what's going on. Having said that, and there's been other issues and other things that I thought that maybe somebody on the Board of Education would want. Having said that, the thought popped into my mind, if you'd like, why don't you create a liaison to to the council. You don't have to stay for the whole meeting.
I was thinking about doing that, but I was, you know.
But obviously, you know, getting the agenda and taking a look at it, and we do have the agendas online that you can look at it in advance, but if there's, just to have somebody to kind of get an understanding of what's going on in the town. You know, at the end of the day, we all represent the elected officials, we represent the taxpayers of this town. And I think it would be a great thing if we can come together. I know we're autonomous boards and we make decisions differently, but if we have an understanding of what each one of us were doing and help each other out in certain respects. And maybe that's a good idea and the schools would like that, or maybe that's a horrible idea, but at least that knowledge of what's going on within the town can help you with budget discussions going forward. I mean, there's just so much that we could do as a group and as a team. So I'm throwing that out there to you. If you would like to discuss it, create a liaison that I would be happy to work with, where I can just go to one person here and there and say, hey, this is what's going on, we can have a talk, and then you can bring it up at your meetings and discuss things, and I think it will be a worthwhile endeavor for you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Steve.
Evelyn Slockbower, 43 Thunderhead Place. Okay, well, now I have two things to say, because I've been to town council meetings, and I had asked about this horrendous exit from the school where you've got the kids, new drivers coming out of the parking lot and trying to make a right, and you've got people coming out of the other driveway trying to make a left. And, you know, they basically told me that they have no control over it, that you guys do. So that would be a good joint effort on your behalf to do something that makes sense, you know? What that is, you know?
Well, Mrs. Slockbower, we do a lot of things that make sense, but that is certainly something that we can take under consideration, so I'm glad you brought it to our attention. Thank
Okay,
you.
and I do appreciate everything you guys do, and even I agree with some things and I disagree with others, and
Which
I
is
make
okay
it
with
vocal.
us.
I'm sorry, but anyway. But I just had a question because January 19, 2016, Jeffrey B., if I'm reading this correctly, Hauger, he put together the 2016-2017 school year testing calendar, right? So that was last year for the for this year's, you know, testing dates. Somebody had asked me just recently about the park testing dates. I went out to the calendar on our website. I don't see any dates. I, you know, tried to dig a little bit, and I didn't see anything referencing the testing dates. So I don't know if you have them written in stone yet, but will those testing dates be added to the school calendar soon?
They will be absolutely publicized and sent out by each of the principals as to when their respective grade levels will be testing, and that will be done shortly.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay. All right, at this time, we're going to start the interviews of candidates. If you'd like to take about a 5-minute break, for anyone who would like to freshen up a little bit. We'll do that right now, and we'll be back in about 5 minutes.